2022 is all about EVs, but is India ready for a truly electric revolution? Android tablets on the show, and of course, we have a very special reveal. We will be revealing Tech Today's biggest fan yet. All that and a lot more. I'm your host Aayush Ailawadi, and this is Tech Today.
Mahindra & Mahindra is powering up its SUV portfolio with 5 futuristic-looking electric vehicles. Designed at its new centre near London, the e-SUVs are being built with technology from Volkswagen. On offer are 2 e-SUV brands, the XUV and the Born Electric or BE. The XUV brings the legacy vehicles in an electric avatar, in the process changing their looks completely. Both the XUVs E8 and E9 will be larger in dimensions than the current XUV 700. The higher profile BE range will meanwhile be a completely new construct, having been designed at Mahindra's newly minted Oxfordshire studio. The top of the line range will have 3 vehicles, the BE E5, E7 and E9.
Because of these learnings, I have every reason to believe that we can, in fact, lead in the four-wheeler electric segment. Mahindra Advanced Design Europe will be the vanguard of our thrust into electric vehicles.
The big features: L2 Plus automation, which translates into adaptive cruise control, lane centering control, and other adaptive driving features. The e-SUVs will also be connected via 5G technology, enabling occupants to control home and other appliances from the vehicle. The 5 vehicles will support relatively powerful engines, promising an output of between 227 to 390 horsepower. The company is betting on long-range efficiency and performance in its electric portfolio. The first launch, that of the XUV E8, is planned for December 2024. The next year will see 2 more launches, while the BE E7 is to be launched in October 2026. Interestingly, Mahindra was one of the first big Indian car companies to dip its fingers in the electric car market when it began Reva in May 2010. The electric mini car was even exported to European countries. This was followed up with the e-Verito, one of the electric vehicles adopted by various government offices under the Energy Efficiency Services Limited EESL scheme. The company, however, lost traction, falling behind to supercharge Tata Drive to capture the Indian market with its Nexon and other models. However, with both companies announcing their futuristic models to be launched over the next few years, the stage is all set for a battle of equals.
It's not just Mahindra and Tata. Ola Electric has also made a big revelation earlier this week. Bhavesh Agarwal has said an Ola electric car will hit Indian roads by 2024 and will offer a range of 500 kilometers on a single charge. The company's debut electric car is likely to be an electric sedan with a Tesla-esque roofline, judging by the teaser shared this week. It will be interesting to see how this EV is priced and what it eventually means for India's electric revolution.
It looks like the EV revolution is here. Why is young India so keen to break the ice, pun intended, and switch over to electric? Is 2022 the right year to invest in an electric vehicle? Now, to answer some of these questions, I'm joined by 2 young tech geeks on the show. Arun Vinay, co-founder at Exponent Energy, previously at Ather, and Akshay Singhal, founder and CEO at Log9. Guys, thanks so much for joining us on Tech Today.
Thanks, Aayush. Thanks for having us.
It's totally a pleasure. Thanks for having us here.
Now, everyone seems to be talking about EVs, and I've noticed that a lot of those conversations come to a grinding halt when you talk about range anxiety and charging infrastructure. So no anxiety for us over here. We're going to address these things. Arun, I'm going to start off by asking you, 6 months ago, if we had this conversation, the technology behind EVs, the ecosystem has developed so much. It's grown in leaps and bounds. So even today, in August 2022, when we're not even halfway there, there's a long way to go. But what do you think is really holding back EV adoption in India as we speak?
Yeah, thanks, Aayush. I think when we started Ather in 2013, right? I think back then, people didn't even believe EVs could be better, right? I think back then people thought EVs were this mobility toy to go buy groceries for the old guy, right? And in some sense, our objective back then was to change that image. And today, if you look around in every segment, people believe EVs are better, right? They drive faster, they got more torque, no vibrations. What's not to love, right? But I think what's holding back adoption is everything around energy, right? Questions around where do I charge? How long will it take? Will my battery last? Who's financing all of this, right? And it's the fairly connected problem of batteries and charging and how they work together. And we believe that's what needs simplifying. And a lot of companies like Logger and us are focusing on that, right? Today, if you look at the Indian context, right, and this is true for many segments, and it's true for someone who's buying an Ather, would assume a very premium segment. They are parking at home. It's not true, right? Most of India doesn't park at home. We don't have the ability to park and charge overnight, right? Most of India parks on the roads, right? A large part of India cannot afford large batteries, right? Unlike a Tesla or a passenger car focused for the European market, where the price points are 4 to 5x out of India, you can afford 400, 500 kilometer range batteries. So I think all of this put together, while India believes they want to go electric, the two things we need to solve for. We need to solve for an energy ecosystem that works for India, which is basically smaller batteries that I can top up more frequently and more flexibly on a public refueling ecosystem, right? So sort of get in, recharge, like refuel, and keep going. That's what's needed to unlock many segments in India, specifically the commercial vehicle space and a large part of the passenger vehicle space.
Given that electric scooters hog the headlines for all the wrong reasons, dousing fires literally, what I wanted to ask you was, if we are to go into next summer, because everyone spoke about tropical climates and how battery packs were faulty and maybe they want checks and balances in place, battery management systems weren't all right. All of that put together, we go into summer of 2023. How do we avert a disaster like we did in year one of electric vehicles in India?
I think the answer to that is very simply focus on product and not trading, right? Most of the EV manufacturers or players in the EV ecosystem today are predominantly traders. I don't know if you know this, but there are more than 300 electric two-wheeler manufacturers registered in India, right?
Correct.
But while there are registered as manufacturers, none of them manufacture anything, right? So the challenge is that it has to be a product-first approach in terms of what is relevant and what is suitable for our climatic conditions, our road conditions, and operating conditions, and the types of vehicles that we're putting them in. Like two-wheeler, three-wheeler is a very India-specific story, or you can extend it to the rest of developing countries in the tropical part of the world. And this entire tropical part of the world faces very high temperatures. So have we really built battery packs for that kind of a scenario? Have we built charging solutions for that kind of a scenario? And have our testing standards been kind of revised for these conditions? Because the existing testing protocols with all the regulatory bodies and otherwise were predominantly just referred from your US standards or European standards. And those conditions are very different. Those vehicles are very different. Those temperatures are very different. And road conditions are very different. So that cannot be kind of extrapolated to India just directly and without having local validation and local product development innovation that is happening. So I think local innovation primarily is the key to avoid all of these things. And as well, this is only going to extrapolate otherwise.
Arun, since you've worked on product before, I have an interesting question for you. A lot of the tech companies in the US built their brands as aspirational brands. Very good marketing. Of course, the product was important, but if you look at Apple or even Tesla, these were companies that had a very strong branding game. Also, fantastic word-of-mouth marketing. If we're talking about building an EV ecosystem and brand EV or India's EV story, how important is it for OEMs and manufacturers to focus on branding and marketing?
Right. I think branding and marketing is important, but that's not the game that EVs are playing today. I think what electric vehicles allow you to do is fundamentally rethink what a vehicle could be, right? And this is something we discovered at Ather. We said, it's not from a point of view of clean, it's not a point of view of sustainable. All those are important goals. But it's important to understand the end of the day, you're selling to a consumer. It could be a commercial driver, it could be a person owning a scooter or a Tesla. But each of them, they have a motivation. They have emotions behind buying these vehicles, right? And it's not a lot. Most vehicles are not a logical decision. Right? You don't come up with an Excel sheet. You don't figure out, hey, what's my exact range that I need, etc., right? Like at the end of the day, you want freedom. You want to build something that represents you. You want to buy something that represents you, or in some sense compensates for you. A lot of emotions and psychology behind buying a vehicle. And EVs allow you to tap into that, right? You want a faster car, you want a car that's lighter, you want a car that's sleeker, You want a car that's more powerful in torque and pickup, right? It completely changed the game on what an electric vehicle could be. So I think EVs have to be a product first problem statement, followed by brand and marketing, right? We're not in the phase where it's not like cell phones where it's sort of commoditized and now it's just a branding and a game. There's a lot of work left in the core product development itself. And I think few years away before we say, hey, all EVs are great. Right? I think today maybe a percentage of the EVs out there are great. And hopefully all of them will get there very quickly.
Guys, thanks so much for a truly electric chat on tech today. It's been insightful, it's been fun, and we know what the future holds for all of us tech geeks as well.
Absolutely.
For sure. For sure. We should do that.
Now, if you've enjoyed that conversation, you should let us know on our social media handles. But this was only the trailer. Picture abhi baki hai. On the other side of this commercial break, we have an action-packed episode, and I told you there's a big reveal at the end of the show. Shout it out from the rooftops. The second half of Tech Today is coming. Don't miss it.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
Welcome back to Tech Today. Previously on the show, we've covered the return of Android tablets. Now, not everyone wants a laptop. Not everyone can afford an iPad or a Samsung tablet. There are inexpensive Android options out there. And if you add a couple of accessories from those brands, you have quite an interesting workstation. Does it enhance your productivity though? And what's this new product from Realme? The Pad X is inexpensive. It has a good display. It has a bunch of features which are Apple-esque and can do a lot of cool things which I think can enhance your productivity. But is that really true? Does it pass the litmus test? Well, let's find out.
So, personally, I've always preferred carrying a tablet more than carrying a laptop around with me. And sitting in a cafe where you can easily do your work on a device which is much lighter than a regular laptop, obviously you would want to prefer a tablet. This one is the Realme Pad X. Is it overpriced compared to other tablets, or has it been priced smartly? How smart is it? What all features does it have? Let's get into everything. This is the Realme Pad X. The first thing that I noticed was the weight of this tablet. It's fairly lightweight, very easy to carry around. And at the same time, what I also noticed was that it does not have a headphone jack. That is something we're going to get back to in a little while. As of now, in terms of the design, I think it is very well designed. It gets you quad speakers and it has about a 10.95 inch screen. So coming to the display that you're getting on this, it is very vibrant and it is definitely one of the better features that this one, the Pad X, is offering. So when you start working on it or when you're consuming any kind of content on this tablet, it is the display which is going to grip you essentially, and the display is very, very good. As far as the refresh rate is concerned, it's 60 Hz and this one is functioning at Snapdragon 695. Consuming any kind of content on any OTT platform, the experience is very good and the colors are fairly vibrant. So this one comes with a 2K display and it gets Realme UI 3 on top of Android 12. Now this one is equipped with a 8340 mAh battery and you get a 33 watt dart charger along with that. So the overall experience in terms of the battery is very, very satiating. You will not have complaints in terms of its battery life or the time it takes to get charged. So talking about some of the features that you're getting on this, you can slide down to split the screen. Now that is one thing which really helps, but this is only possible in landscape mode. And you can swap the screens after they have been split as well. And there is also another feature called the floating windows. With the floating window, you can essentially keep one window in small and you can continue working with everything else that the tablet is offering. Now this next feature is regarding the camera that you're getting on the Pad X, which is one of the major features that it's offering. This one comes with an 8 megapixel camera in the front and it has a feature called Realme Limelight. So essentially what it does is it adjusts on its own depending on the number of people in the frame. So it can go into a wide angle, it can get closer, it can zoom in, and you don't need to feed in any kind of a command for that. It does it on its own. Now till here, everything sounds hunky-dory. Now here is where I feel the problem starts. Let's focus on how they have priced the tablet, okay? They are saying that it starts at 19,999, but the variant in that price comes with 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage, and it is not compatible with 5G. Now, the variant which is compatible with 5G comes with 4 GB of RAM, 64 GB of storage, and that one will cost you 26,000. And the variant with 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage, which is compatible with 5G, is essentially going to cost you 28,000. So while it may start at about 20,000, the one that you would actually want to aspire to buy is going to cost you 28,000. And at that price range, this one is going to face some stiff competition, which it may not be able to meet you. Now, continuing further from the price, the one with 6 GB RAM and 128 GB of storage with 5G compatibility is essentially costing me 28,000. And at that price range, it is going to compete with the likes of the Xiaomi Pad 5, which I feel comes with a much better processor and will definitely not be one that this one can overtake. So I'm done with this shoot. I'm going to get back to my coffee, and something I do want to mention here is that Aayush has not been responding to me on WhatsApp since a while, and I don't see him online either. And that's very unlikely of him. So I want to know, Aayush, where are you and what are these new features you're using on WhatsApp?
In his latest blog post, Mark Zuckerberg has announced a bunch of new features for WhatsApp. They'll be rolled out in the coming days, but most of these features are aimed at enhancing the privacy and security of WhatsApp conversations. In fact, he's actually said this in his Instagram story and that blog post. He said that he wants to make these conversations on WhatsApp as private and secure as face-to-face conversations. But how do all of these features really stack up, and do they really make a difference to your user experience? Well, let's find out. Important feature number 1, leaving groups silently. Now, all of us are on WhatsApp groups, not just family groups, even work groups. And sometimes you end up leaving a group or you are removed from a group. Now, either way, it's an awkward situation where everyone on that group gets a notification that so-and-so has left the group or has been removed from the group. Now, later this month, the new feature will allow you to leave a WhatsApp group silently. Apart from the admin of that group, no one needs to know that you've exited the group. The next one is quite a useful feature, especially if you want to decide how to keep your online presence private. Now, we're using WhatsApp all the time. We're getting notifications and messages on groups. What if you could decide who gets to see that you're online? Maybe you only want your mum or someone special to know you're online. Maybe you don't want your boss to know that you're online, or anyone randomly messaging you on WhatsApp. That is a feature which will also be rolled out later this month, and I think that would be quite a useful one, because earlier you could decide who gets to see when you were last seen online, and that could be someone from your contact list, a bunch of people on your contact list, or everyone in general. Now it's a lot more specific. You can decide which particular person knows you're online. This is a useful addition, and of course, we'll see this later this month. Well, that was me taking a screenshot. Now, if you're trying to be sneaky and someone has sent you a view once message, that is for private viewing and one-time viewing only. If you're taking a screenshot of that, that is not cool. So WhatsApp is actually working on a new screenshot blocking feature for view once messages. I think that can be very useful, especially for a lot of us who are using the app. And in India, there's a whole bunch of us using the app. This is a feature that they're still working on, and we will see it in the days to come. So these are the 3 new features announced by Mark Zuckerberg in his latest blog post, and they're coming to WhatsApp here in India. I think they'll make a huge difference in terms of added privacy and security for 400 million users of WhatsApp here in India. Now, a year or two ago, a lot of people started using other apps, especially during the lockdowns. Telegram, for one, Signal as well. Look, WhatsApp is end-to-end encrypted, but if they're talking about these several layers of interlocking for more privacy and security, it's only a good thing. Of course, we'll be testing them on Tech Today, so stay tuned to Business Today for more. Well, now it's time for the big Tech Today reveal. Our number one fan on the show. Okay, very bad joke. This is the first smart fan that we've got on the show. This is the Xiaomi Smart Fan, Smart Standing Fan 2. And you'll wonder why we're getting these gadgets, because we get all sorts of gadgets on the show. Does this make your life easier? Well, we were shooting in Bangalore last week, and honestly, with Bangalore's hill station-like weather, this is the coolest addition to your bachelor pad, if that's what you're going for. But if you're in a city like Mumbai, and now we're back at the Tech Today studio, this is not the ideal guy to have around when it's humid. But in terms of pure tech, I've enjoyed setting this up more than even using it. When you're unboxing it, it comes in several different dismantled parts. So the grill is different, the fan motor is different, the stand is different. You know, all of these attachments come in a modular sort of Dyson, IKEA sort of setup. It's really light. You can literally pick it up like this, and it is almost silent. The maximum sound that it can make is 30 decibels, and it comes with a bunch of smart features. It's tiny, but it's a pocket rocket because honestly, it gives you all sorts of breeze options. For instance, you get the Mi Home app, and all of a sudden, you're connected to this fan. Once you've set it all up, it has all these features like natural breeze, direct breeze. So if I click on direct breeze right now, it will then switch over to a far more ceiling fan sort of an experience. And even then, you can actually hear it on the mic. It's not that loud. It's much more powerful. And if you want to increase the speed, you can go from 1, 2, 3, 4 like most fans. You can decide what angle of oscillation it uses as well. I'm increasing the speed all the way up to the maximum amount. This is it at maximum, 100% speed. It's gotten louder, as you can see. You know, each time you're adjusting the fan speed, it responds instantly, and then there's this animation over here which is sort of reassuring that the fan has listened to you. You can also connect it to Alexa or Google Assistant, and then those devices can control the fan as well. Now, do you need a smart fan? I'm not sure. If you're into tech and you're a geek like me and you want everything connected, there are perils of connecting everything, but then you're already everywhere. You're available on social media and stuff like that. So when you do know you're connected, this can be quite helpful. You also have other features like the angle of oscillation, schedule when they should be turned off. Maybe at some point in the night you want it turned off, so you can do that as well. It has indicators, notification sounds. It's a simple piece of technology. Should you buy it? Look, like I said, it's up to you. If you're in the market for a standing fan, I was looking at some of the other products, the legacy products in the market, around 4,000, 3,000 rupees. This one is under 6,000 rupees, maybe 5,000 something. So you're spending a little bit more, you're getting a smart product. And if you're already in the Xiaomi ecosystem or have other Android devices or Amazon Alexa, then this becomes, well, a very nifty and useful accessory to have around. Then again, it's also my number one fan. Well, it's always good to be back at the Tech Today studio here in Mumbai. Now, if you've enjoyed this show, then let us know on our social media handles. Until next week, this is your host Aayush Ailawadi saying adios.
Amid the escalating tensions between China and Taiwan, China is leaving no stones unturned to show off its military powers, this time with its mighty dragon or Chengdu J-20. It is a twin-jet all-weather stealth that was developed by China's Chengdu Aerospace. J-20 is designed as an air superiority fighter with precision strike capability. More than 50 of these jets are in service since it was developed in 2011. J20 can carry one pilot as its crew. It has a length of 21.2 meters and wingspan is 13.01 meters. Its height is 4.69 meters, wing area measures 73 per meter square and its weight is 17,000 kilograms. The twin jet can catch the speed of 2 Mach. Its range is 5,500 kilometers and it can combat up to 2,000 kilometers. China is proud of its Chengdu J20. This aircraft will be showcased in China's new film Born to Fly, made for People Liberation Army. The movie will showcase the modernized aircraft of the PLA.